It's the middle of the night, 1963. A single, rogue red signal is about to stop a train dead in its tracks. Now, this isn't just any train. It's the Royal Mail, and tonight it's carrying an absolute fortune. This is the story of a heist so daring, it would be forever known as the Great Train Robbery.
So picture this. Inside the carriages, it's pretty much business as usual. You've got mail sorters just doing their job, midway through a long shift, with the sound of the wheels on the track being this familiar rhythm. They have absolutely no idea that just up ahead, lurking in the dark, a perfectly planned ambush is waiting to completely shatter their night.
Let's just stop here for a second. For a seasoned driver like Jack Mills, this wasn't just weird, it was flat out impossible. This particular signal was rigged to always show green for the mail train. So as he slammed on the brakes, you can just imagine this chilling feeling setting in. This isn't a glitch, this is a trap. The silence just gets shattered. Masked figures are suddenly swarming the engine. The phone lines are cut, completely isolating the train from the rest of the world. And when the driver, Jack Mills, tries to resist, he's struck down by a heavy iron bar. The Great Train Robbery was officially on. But this was no random attack. Oh no, this was a meticulously crafted operation, the kind of thing that takes months of planning by a criminal visionary who saw an opportunity that literally nobody else did. So who was this guy? Bruce Reynolds. By day, he's a respectable antique dealer. By night, a master thief. He put together this amazing crew of specialists for the job, but his entire plan, well, it all hinged on a secret. A little piece of inside info from a mysterious source they only called the Ulsterman. And this right here is what's so incredible, the precision of the intel they got. This insider, who, by the way, we still don't know who it was, gave them 3 crucial tips. 1, target the specific high-value carriage. 2, do it right after a bank holiday weekend when cash reserves are maxed out. And 3, the real kicker, know that the one carriage that actually had a security alarm would be conveniently out of service that exact night. I mean, come on. And this was the prize. Not the usual 300,000 pounds, but 10 times that. In today's money, you're looking at over 60 million pounds. I mean, a score that massive, it made every single risk seem totally worth it. And here's the plan laid out. It looks so simple on paper, right? Just 4 steps. But in reality, it was this complex dance of crime. It needed absolute precision, split-second timing, and for nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing to go wrong. All right, so that was the plan. Now, let's get back to the darkness of those train tracks, because that perfect plan is just about to slam into a very, very messy reality. And right here is where the first crack in the plan shows up. The retired train driver they brought along for the job, he was totally baffled by the modern engine controls. So in this moment of pure panic and incredible irony, they have to wake up their injured victim, Jack Mills, and force him to drive his own hijacked train to the spot where they're gonna rob it. You can't make this stuff up. Once they get to Brydeago Bridge, the sheer size of their loot becomes a real physical problem. The cash, all stuffed in these mail sacks, weighed an incredible 2.5 tons. The gang had to form a human chain, like this frantic conveyor belt, just passing sack after sack down to the truck waiting below. And they were seriously against the clock. Their plan only gave them 15 minutes at the bridge. 15! In that tiny window, they managed to load 120 sacks of money, but they had to leave 8 behind as time just ran out. So yeah, the heist was a success, but it wasn't quite perfect. With millions in hand, the gang just melted back into the night, racing towards a place called Leather Slade Farm, a secluded hideout they were sure was their sanctuary. So you gotta understand their mindset here. They were on top of the world, totally convinced they just pulled off the perfect crime. They're divvying up the money, listening to the police chatter on the radio, and famously playing a game of Monopoly using the actual stolen cash. But in that moment of victory, they were completely oblivious to a single careless comment that was about to bring the whole thing crashing down. As they left the postal workers tied up in the carriage, one of the robbers just threw out this final warning. It was meant to be a threat, right? Just a way to buy them a little more time. But think about it. Why 30 minutes? Why that specific number? It seems so random, like a throwaway line. But in reality, it was the one loose thread that was going to let the police unravel their entire masterpiece. For Scotland Yard, that 30-minute warning wasn't just some threat. No, it was a calculation. It was a starting point that turned a nearly impossible needle in a haystack search into a focused manhunt. So the police figured, okay, the gang needs a hideout that's within a 30-minute drive of the bridge. That immediately narrowed their entire search down to a 50-kilometer radius, and when the robbers heard that on their scanner, total panic set in. Their safe house was suddenly not so safe. The careful, planned exit went out the window, and it turned into a messy, frantic escape. In their rush to get out, they left everything. The guy who was supposed to burn the farmhouse, he just took his cut of the money and ran. And there, in the middle of all that chaos, on that Monopoly board they've been playing with, the police found it. One single, perfect fingerprint that would crack the entire case wide open. The robbers, they were eventually caught. They got these long sentences that somehow turned them into these legendary anti-heroes. But the real cost of their crime, that fell on Jack Mills. The head injury he got left him with serious, lasting trauma. He never drove a train again, and he died just 7 years later, pretty much a forgotten victim in a crime that became famous. And you know, that brings us to the biggest, most enduring question of all. After all the arrests, all the trials, all the legends, what happened to the money? The honest answer is, nobody really knows. The vast majority of that 2.5 million pounds was just never, ever recovered. It vanished, just as completely as the robbers did on that August night. The Great Train Robbery really is this perfect storm of brilliant planning, simple human error, and just enduring mystery. It's a story that reminds you that sometimes the smallest little detail, a careless word, a single fingerprint on a game board, can be the difference between a perfect crime and a lifetime behind bars. It just goes to show you, even in the middle of chaos, you can find clarity if you just know how to connect the pieces.